2024, keeping Ugandan music alive. Speaking about keeping Ugandan music alive, today on the show, we are NTV The Beat, proudly powered by Mountain Dew. My name is Dagan Linda Den Sami, and of course, our two amazing, one of the most powerful people we have in the game today, as stakeholders, the unbeatable, undeniably, one of Uganda's most prolific, most emphatic, the one who speaks his voice and mind without fear or favor. He is untamable, but also in one of the funniest ways, undeniable. The one and only Kasuku was a banger in the building, alongside the one who came to conquer. He came, he saw, and he what? One day I'll conquer. What, you are yet to conquer.
No, I'm yet, but one day.
The professor, the juggernaut.
Yes, the renegade, the encyclopedia, the man, the myth. Later I told you guys I become a legend. I came, I saw one day I'll conquer. You can call me King Chalam Black Punk. The question is the answer. You can call me Emperor and the Mansa Musa. The Mutabano Mufasa and the Houdini Mufus. Oh, Banga, tell me, let to me. Yes, Jagaloni Mutego get Konkome. Can we say that want to go me? I got the flow that will make you hack your enemy. Kasuku and Sava analysis single Uganda Sava Federo. I think number Sulaka be to Petro. I got a bid. Quaid.
I like Kasuku's face as all of this is unfolding. Guys, welcome to the show.
Kasuku, welcome you. Welcome you. The
man is a fool.
that is your deduction.
Everybody say I saw a man and I saw foolish.
No doubt.
He's a juggernaut.
He's the juggernaut.
Yeah.
He can be so.
One day he'll conquer. I think he's a note there.
Yes.
He's doing some nice stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kasuku, before we came on air, we were just talking about that particular song, Young Mulo and Shiba.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the song?
I think it's a nice jam.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a nice jam.
Somebody was
That's
asking
all you have
me,
to say.
You need to say something about the fact that you ultimately said that Shiba is pregnant. So they want to know how you got to know that she is actually pregnant.
It's a matter of time. Let us wait and see.
You keep saying that, some of us, you just wonder where you get your information.
She said we wait till October, September.
Let us give it time.
Yeah.
Because I got the information and I said, I'm never going to confirm nor deny, but my source really tells me the wrong thing.
The wrong thing.
So, but we said, let us give it time. And we see what
I mean, like they say, at the end of the day, pregnancy is the only thing that is done in secrecy, but it will come out publicly by itself.
So the whole world will know. These people don't use condoms.
Let's talk about music, people. Let's talk about music. Let's talk about music. Let's talk about the industry. Yes.
You are here, and I think the whole world has gotten or has had the pleasure to get to hear your stakes when it comes to the entertainment industry in Uganda, left, right, and center. And one of the things or the topics that has been coming up and popping up for the past couple of months is where we stand as Ugandans in the entertainment industry. So many people are coming out to say we are not good enough to cross borders, and maybe you can be able to tell us what your say is on this particular stance, on where you believe we are at as the Ugandan music industry.
You want me to go?
I mean, either one of you can be in. Frank, where do you think we stand?
Right now we stagnant, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, we 3 steps ahead and then 5 backwards. We've had some glimpses of our artists who have tried to cross borders, and then a minute later they are back here. It is so frustrating for some of our artists whom we thought now this direction they've taken, we can just bid farewell. And then when we're here, they're also back. Like this market of UG, they had already consolidated it. I'm talking about someone whom in 2015 was awarded a BET award. And then his compatriots, his competitors in other regions, West Africa, East Africa, for example, Diamonds, they are on another direction of consolidating themselves there. And then for him, you can see him every Tuesday somewhere singing live band for free.
What's up, Eddie Kenzo? How you doing? Continue.
Yes, but then you can see the likes of Azawi, Joshua Baraka, they are doing very good, but then you can't do it alone. It has to be something that has structures already. I told someone that our music industry isn't a music industry. It isn't. when you try to compare it with other industries, an industry that doesn't have any structure whatsoever, you understand? Any industry that can't allow investors to come and invest when they can get their money back. We are talking about policies. Instead of getting handouts from the government each day, probably you can lobby for policies that can enable an environment which can attract investors. There is no industry that has thrived without investors. You're talking about private investors. Yeah. You know, all the record labels, the big three, Universal, Sony, Warner. Guys who have money, they came, they invested their money, then they tried to, you know, come down and distribute through various artists, sign artists. But in signing an artist, it means investment. You're going to do all the audio recording, video, branding, marketing, each and everything, and that is money. And then on the other hand, you have to expect the returns.
In a couple of years.
Yes, so when you don't have those structures, money cannot be recouped back. So when you come back in our industry in UG, there is nothing like that. Okay, there are a few guys who are trying. You know, you can't hesitate that Swanks isn't doing anything. They're doing something good, and some other people. But then the wider scope, you understand. So I believe we don't have an industry for now as it should have been.
Yeah.
Then Kasuku was a banker.
I think I won't differ so much from Frank Ntambi. Personally, I'm not. How can I say this? I'm not a fan of Ugandan music anymore.
Yeah, in your recent statements, you even said Yagwa.
Yeah, Ugandan.
You need to add the word since.
Yeah.
Ugandan music is on its knees. I think what used to define Ugandan music was lost. That was what we call band music. Yeah. Then we lost Kadongo Kamu, we lost band music. I saw Misach one time saying, now people were saying band music went away. How come Mainja is doing a show and is feeding up? Well, let Mainja try it next year and the other year. Let them do it as they used to do it. Then they will know. Because of course there are people who want to hear that music. They don't see these people anymore and they're like, okay, for us Serena we shall come. Does not mean that the music is back, you know. So when band music died or went on its knees, then Kadongo Kamu left us. Then what used to be our music also left. It was, most people call it Afrobeat, but it's actually pop. Most of our people do pop music. Now, pop is short for popular. Yeah? So people are not doing popular music anymore. Popular music is that music that could get everybody dancing, the beats especially, and could span you like a full year. Now we have music that is taking people, what, 2 months, 3 months, and it's not even pushing further. Now the biggest challenge pop music has, which was literally what Ugandans used to do, is the internet. Now the challenge we have is our musicians have failed to maximize the internet. Kati, a person gets a song, places it on TikTok influencers, it comes, bangs for a month. When a new story comes up, it is covered. We move on to something else. You understand? So now that is how I see Ugandan music. Some years ago, I think it was Bate. There's a man called Bate who used to work for Vision Group. I think one time said, Ugandan music, people do bubblegum music. And now is the right time to bring back that debate. Most people are doing bubblegum music. You chew it, after that sweetness is done, within a month or two, you spit it out. But now the challenge they have, people like Shiba could do like 8 songs a year. We are now into we are almost into six months, halfway. I think she's released like 2. Or
just collabos,
2 to 3. And they are also struggling on the market today. Yeah? So, that's the biggest challenge I'm seeing. So Ugandan music is more or less non-existent because the players I think the players are now broke. The money, I've spoken to most musicians and they're telling me the money we are investing in the music does not come back as it used to before. You understand? So someone, today we have, yeah, by the way, Ochimanyi Judith Hardy agenda kucheyo. Obadde okimanyi?
Nedda se. Badde banyali ku international.
I know how that is.
I was going to tell you musicians who have left for Cheyo. So there is Drake Ali, there is Catherine Kusasira, there is Stasha Mayanja, and yeah,
Caesar Dictionary.
musicians are leaving.
General Mega D.
Yes, musicians are, and Angela Karule,
yes.
and many are going to leave this year because I've spoken to like 8 musicians who are saying if I get the chance to leave, because a person now, like let me say Mega D, is showing a musician here that he's a qualified nurse. He can fly. When I was in the UK, he flew from the US to the UK just to come and chill that weekend, then went back. And he's telling this person, I'm earning this much, and in a space of 5 years I've done this much. And a musician is here, and in a space of 5 years has made a lot of money but does not have that much because of the high cost of the business.
Well, because they keep putting it back into the music.
Thank you very much. So
Naira Ali.
I was speaking to Naira Ali.
She's now a blogger.
No, so Vambi Ntambi.
Isn't she a blogger? Every time she's giving an opinion.
There is a difference between you, the bloggers and analysts, and her. Okay. She gives her opinion once in a while. So she has a new EP. It's called Love.
Yeah.
So she told me, I think the first 1 month she had made $3,000
Off the EP.
Off the EP.
Yes.
And she had never made money off any of her albums
previously.
Yeah.
She has been releasing albums, I think, every 2 years. But through the whole system ya USA, naja uploading, and so far she had made $3,000. So
So there's a better system for the artists out there than there is.
And that was the same thing GNL was saying.
Yes.
He was saying he was making a lot of money. And he spoke of $1 billion.
Yes.
Or something like that.
Of his spare album, 2020.
But he said he was making a lot of money off his digital
website.
streams than the actual money he can make
Of performances.
Yes. So it is understandable. Then also we have issues of musicians who have lost the way. They don't know where they are going. This in Uganda now, it is very challenging today. Every year there are like 4 new artists who have those funny hit songs. Somehow they are moving. Then when you raise up your head to see, you look for Rema, you can't see her. You look for Bebe Cool, you can't see him. You look for Irene Tari. You know the big names we used to know? They are now just, it is now the names supporting them, not them supporting their names. So Ugandan music is on its knees.
Kasuku, I want to say thank you so much for that submission. But I want to pitch you about 3, 4, 5 steps back. When you said that, when you said into Naira Ali and 3,000, GNL Zamba spoke of $1 billion, and they're saying that they're still struggling. They had never made that amount of money before or previously. My question is, because I talk to so many musicians, I talk to so many producers and stuff, and I've spoken to those that have made money and they have actually invested the money, who have understood the business, that there is earning money from music vis-a-vis lifestyle. But there are those that have made the money and they are equating it to the lifestyle. Living by the abiding principle that it is showbiz. Muntu nakwata $1,500,000 nagule motoka ya $1,400,000. So for me, I'd like to step away from what you say, that the industry has no money. That is why the musicians are struggling. That is why they are broke. I've been around so many musicians who are happily paying a bill of 10 million in a bar. But you wake up one morning and they are telling you, and you wonder, why are you renting such a house when you're paying 10 million in a bar? Why are you parking 6 cars? Why are you parking 7 cars?
The 10 million was as latest as when?
No, I'm giving you proverbial examples. Nti omuyimbi. So when I'm talking to an investor, like say as an example, when I'm talking to Sammy, nemugamba Sammy, abayimbi baavu, Frank, leta ku sente tutekemo industry. Frank nakugamba, what you man? These people have been singing for 10 years. These people have been driving cars I've never even dreamt of driving. These guys have been traveling the whole world. But ambulance you now. Why are you telling me they don't have the money?
Of course,
so I'm thinking it should not be a yard mark to say the industry has no money. Yet the actual people who are making the money from this industry are not investing it.
Kati Dagina, we are confusing two things. There is having the money and investing it, and having the money and using it badly. Me, I'm not there.
No,
me, I'm saying today,
where
the cost of production.
Kasuku, where I'm putting you is, let me give you a question. Kasuku, as a brand, Kasuku was a banger. If I gave you 10 days to make 1 million shillings a day, can you do it?
I can't.
You can't?
Yes.
Do you know that in Uganda, if a musician says, njagala okuyimbira million yemu, buli alina million yemu agirete, there are musicians who can make 10 million in 10 days. Do you know that? And I'm not telling you the big ones. I'm telling you the normal regular ones. The regular ones.
Who are the regulars, Dagi?
Of course, we know the chameleons are not regulars.
So who are the regulars?
We know the Spice Dianas are not regulars.
They
are not regular. But regular, Baliam voice,
Baliam voice, even at their peak, they were not earning it.
Newagamba $10 week.
Yeah, but you see, Dagina, let me tell you, the things we are talking about. Let us take an example of Liam Voice. If Liam Voice is earning 500,000 per day, what is his expenditure per day?
I think that's what he's trying to.
That is what I'm trying to show you.
People are not getting the money back.
The cost of production of Kasuku, that this is Kasuku the musician, yeah? The cost of production is very high. I'm going to give you an example.
So they end up staying stagnant because they're not actually making anything above and beyond.
Thank you. You have to pay the manager. You have a family to feed. You have a house to pay. You have you yourself to look the part.
Yes.
You have the. You know, today there is no studio. A sensible studio is not charging below 1M for an audio. 1M. Banesim bali mu million munana. Obadde okimanyi?
Yeah.
Go to the videos. People are paying as much as 15 million. Kati, let me get, if Nina Rose is doing a video of 15 million. And she's not getting those gigs. But we are demanding quality from her.
So who is to blame?
There's where you ponder the question, because so many of these artists have said they're opting for this particular type of music, which you say is bubblegum music.
Exactly.
Because it's what gives them the money or puts money in their pocket.
It's not doing that anymore.
They're going to perform those songs in how many bars over a span of 3 months and probably at least get back the money that they got in it. Do you see it wrong for them to go that direction, considering it's what's working more for them as opposed to, because right now I don't think they have that ability to put out a song and wait for people to love the song as it would be in any other place where they are able to earn offline without having to perform?
No, they have to go back to the basics.
Kasuku mwenyini yagamba nga tona bakiddamu linda kyakugambye kankyogere mu Luganda. Gwe mwenyini wagamba.
Mu Luganda kigambo.
Kankyogere mu Luganda.
Wachayagala kinzirize mu Luganda. Sitegedde Luzungu lwayogedde.
Wachogera mu Luganda. Wachogera mu Luganda. No, ngamba omuntu ali mu kulaba kati. Linda kyali mu gamba. Nti abayimbi obakuba music ali sensible temumuwagira. Abantu tebagala basomesa. abantu bagala bayimbira bintu birina sense okuba music ali stupid bubblegum abantu goba opting okukola ki gwe mwenyini nkujukira nogamba one of the songs of the year bulimba lwe wayagala ennyo nogamba Irene Ntale Essanyu Ddagala wagamba that was one of the most beautiful songs of the year. But you're not going to go to Catwalk and go to Simanyi Way and you ask those young kids to say between Enkudi and Essanyu Ddagala mwagalani, all of them are going to pay for Enkudi.
Yes.
Sensible music versus
but you see, I think people didn't understand what exactly I meant. We have had here songs that we could define like sensible. For example, boom back bogolako. They are not they are not like, okay, they are not as rubbish songs. You understand? There was a standard where our sound was. I'm going to give an example. Mamma Mia is a sensible song, but we dance to it. So yes, we had Bogolako, we had Mr. Mane, Mr. Katara. That was like, you know, what we could call the bare minimum, where we could float.
The juicy.
Today people are under that.
Some calls it TikTok sound.
Today people are under that. So now that is where the challenge is. We have a bare minimum, much as it was not, but at the time maybe that was the issue. Today this generation, me, I'm proud to say I have people like Bebe Cole, Chameleon, Bobby Wine, Reddy and Weasel. They defined my final years. The years where I was like, yeah. Today, if you asked a teenager out there that you just give me 5 musicians that you will say have defined your final years.
Joshua Baraka, Cohen JC, Akine.
Yes.
Those are our names.
Yeah, but then also I'll tell you, Sammy.
Yes.
Even us during those days, we had musicians who came. They were not really like they didn't last that long, but we could drop names. Kat today the challenge Joshua Baraka has, we need some consistency for him for some solid years to get to a point where I say he's now defining a generation.
And he has stamped his foot.
Yes, he has. Now he has to stay there.
And the thing is, he has, which I want us to go back to the original conversation of this particular conversation, and we're going to do that once we go on a break. But I want us to drive the conversation in terms of the industry and the fact that we all agree it's more now than ever for our music to get out. Yeah?
Out of the country.
Out of the country.
We have been having ourselves a very interesting conversation. And yes, the guests we have, Kuku and Mr. Frank Ntambi.
Yes.
Where we had left off, we were trying to figure out how we can get our music to cross borders. You both seem to be in agreement that we are struggling somehow, somewhere.
Yes.
What are we not doing right, and what is that one thing you think that we actually should be focusing on more? As opposed to
bearing in mind, as we speak right now, Joshua Baraka last night had a listening party for his deluxe EP, and in London, it was well attended. Radar Spotify is pushing the brand as well, but that's just one person, and we need more. So how do we ensure that more of our music crosses the border? More of our artists can get booking in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Rwanda, and beyond as well.
Yes, I think you've said of Azawi, the other viewer, Elijah, Azawi, and Joshua. And I think for me, they understood the assignment. The assignment at task is, do we even have a sound as UG? Because if you look at Nigeria, they were struggling also. We are talking about the 1990s, 2000s, but then midway there, they strategized on how they are going to, one, conquer their area in Nigeria, and then also their region, West Africa, and then after, they all of the continent, and right now they are global. You go to UK, you go to Australia, when in the top 20 of most of their radio stations, they have at least 4 to 8 songs of Nigerians, and that is on a repeat. You understand? Because when someone hears a song, they can identify that is coming from Nigeria. But then in UG, can we try to, as you're exporting Nkudi, the other one is exporting Zakutudde Mbuzi, you know, abantu baba bali mu mix eyo etategerekeka. So we have to find a symposium as an industry, though kizo kubeera nga kizibu, but sometimes even if there are 5 to 10 people abasobola okubeera nga bakwata umbrella eyo, then abalala ne bafallinga into that template. Esaawa zino kikyatumenyamu nnyo nti tukyalina identity crisis eya sound yaffe, ennyimba zennyini ziri lukewarm. Twogere ne DJ wano nti oli afulumya oluyimba n'alukuleetera nga terudya na mu system yammwe, you understand, teziri mastered, teziri engineered, oli akuwadde buwi. How do you expect that to cross lugende Ethiopia, lugende Cape Verde, lugende France, you understand? Even right now the new normal is digitalization. Yes. You understand? Nti abayimbi abasinga essaawa zino bafuna off the streams weziri Apple, Tidal, Spotify biki byonna. Ojja mu Uganda olaba nti sente bazifuna kale ku YouTube kokka. These others culture teriiwo wano. How do you expect someone Ntambi to buy a song or Shibo or Bebe Cool nga ba mudundo.com bangamba nti nfuna lwa bwerere? Those sijana zogera, but there are so many. I think that these artists were pleading as very platforms as I was downloading it.
Only a few can say remove my music.
But on you like even 1% tewera, you understand? But no artists kat culture bagiteka mufa abantu. Kati tulina culture gula music. Ochiraba kakati ekyo kibanga tekiriwo. How do you expect bali abalala abali eri kwenda bagenda
ate babatekayo bafunamu?
Yes,
Dr. Innocent na hawe ekintu ekyo.
Yes,
twagezaako kimuteekamu era olwo abayimbi abamugamba nze nzijayo
naye nga be batono, because on record it was A-Pass and General Zamba who said fe tulina our platforms nga ffe kazibeereyo, but nabeera kyabalya because culture teriwo era bamaliriza baddayo eri nti culture wano singa tugikomyawo kubeera nti n'abantu bagula. In the US for example oba mu Western world albums leak. I remember To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick Lamar, it leaked. And Good Kid, Mad City, Zari Kinga. But the core fans of Kendrick Lamar bagula originals, because bali bachagala. Here in Uganda, mupicha inzo genda kucha setting ishogolele bachimumanyiza. Obochitegira. Awo na nituda kucha
ne Renaissance ya Beyonce ya leaking.
Yes, nituda kucha madde ntira nnyo okwogera ekintu kya government and politics essaawa zino ali into play into our music. Abasinga bakitabanga ekyokuzannya naye kyekyamaanyi. Nze tewali nnaku gye ennuma kulaba nga abayimbi bakuŋŋaanira mu kakakuuni ako ne babeera awo wasting a lot of time there. Yesterday nabadde ndaba Jackie Chandiru. Abayimbi batandise ekintu. They are trying to do so many blame games. Bebasinga blaming essaawa zino beba amawulire. Walabye encounter Eddie Kenzo n'omwana wa NBS. Omwana wa NBS yamaliriza yogedde ebiyinza n'essaawa zino omutwaza mu kooti. Yazibikira omusango gwa someone yatta omuntu because yabadde very emotional. You understand? Naye nga kijja olw'abayimbi baffe si bateeketeeke kubeera mu kisaawe kino. They are not oriented. Abasinga bali bakubanga ngato dagala ne bajja mu music olebula bikolwa. Essaawa zino batufuukidde ekizibu nti baga tubalire bulezi. Omuyimbi wekuto onywedde ebiragalalagala, onywedde omwenge, wekoze buli kimu, owamawulire abikutta biraze nsinga omulimu gwe gumugamba, then ofunye ebizibu eyo oyagala kukola Smile Suicide emirundi 6 kikyolinda, then okomyewo manteka mu depression nali ngenda kwetta ogusooka ogwokubiri ogusa n'ogwomukaaga because of you media ebweru w'eggwanga yonna. There is coexistence between media and music. Tezibadde nga smooth run okitegeera. Ba MJ bakavalinga MJ okutuuka n'omwana wo omuto emyezi 9 okubeera nga bamukapturinga. That is the world. Katulina aba stars wano mu Uganda nga tebateekebwa tebaamanya kye bazeemu. So nabeera mu blame games oba okitegeera. Awo wona tulina okubeera nga tukola ki tusongawo. But ekyokufulumya music waffe okumexportinga kiri far-fetched except for those few individuals abategera assignment aba benchmarkings kuba nawe bakikoze batya and they will thrive. The Joshua Barakas, they will thrive.
Frank, talking about the identity issue.
Yes.
Kuku was a banger. If Tanzania has bongo flavor and Kenya has genge music, Congo has what? Lingala and Zouk.
Congo has rumba, sukos, Zouk, Lingala. Yeah, they have all those.
What does Uganda have? This is a question I am asking you.
Uganda, I think our music is raga. Our music is raga, ideally. raga, or what most people could call Afrobeat.
Because the reason I'm asking you,
yes,
Frank Ntambi, he says identity. Linda says identity. If you are talking to a producer extraordinaire, Dr. Dre, and is asking you, Kasuku, speak to me about your region, and you tell him, well, Kenya is Genge, Tanzania is Bongo, you tell him Congo is Lingala,
no, it's Rumba.
Zouk, Rumba,
Lingala is the language,
and then you tell him, and then he asks you, the way you are giving him straight answers in the face of Dr. Dre, and then he asks you, and Uganda?
Afrobeat. I think Uganda is the home of Afrobeat.
And Nigeria?
Nigeria, but was you people, and it's where I was coming to. You see, our people here are tired. Most of our musicians are tired.
right?
And those who are coming now, they lack inspiration. It's all about those with the clear direction of where they are going. Azawi, Joshua Baraka, bit Vinka. You can see they are trying to do something different.
Yes.
We are tulimo hangover. Now, the only thing that is going to get us out of here is when people choose to get away from the hangover, which is going to be difficult. Why? Most of our musicians bakuze, they feel certain styles don't suit them anymore. Kati okugamba omusajja atandika okuba ekintu kiri kibeera kizibu. There is a musician who one time told me, Kasuku mugamba tuyimbe bino ebintu naye abaana banaatugamba batya, nina omwana ali mu university second year kati bamugamba nti daddy waayimba bino. Do you understand what I'm saying? So people are tired, people are hanging over, people have hangover. Kati ekyokulala, kati what they need to do, Olava, you see what Azawi is doing, eh? The Azawi is okay, Swang's Avenue and
yes.
Joshua Baraka, what they're trying to do, they're trying to redefine a sound and attach it to us.
Yes.
Vis-a-vis what the biggest population now wants. Because the biggest population now feels like Nigerian music, South African music is the ish. So they are trying to fuse it. The challenge we have, there are Ugandans who have tried to do it. Neera bachikoze bobi. Ochitegera chegama. Bachikoze bobi lwaki, but producer they don't take time. Read, understand, practice, bring it out. Yeba awulira kiri nakigezaako. I think one of the most versatile producers we had here for some time was Daddy Andre. Rakubanti naye naatuuka n'akoowa.
Versatile.
Yes.
All right.
Sammy.
Yeah.
Sammy.
No.
Sammy.
And what I'm trying to tell you, by versatile, I'm saying he moved away from what most people thought was the Ugandan sound, and he tried to. But when Gamilanti, the challenge is, I think he got tired. Is where he's saying, "Hey, versatile," because he reached a point where now he was doing the same. But when you see 3 years before lockdown, all that music, that sound was fresh from him. Then it the first reason why Ugandan music went on its knees is sounding the same.
Yes.
You sing and someone is like, but I've heard this song before. And it's another song.
So they get a template that is working and they copy and paste. So
what they need to do, they have to forego some people, leave us behind, and start building with a new audience. This is what Burna Boy did. Burna Boy used to do music similar to Davido and you know those guys. He's not breaking through. Then he was like, I have to leave behind these people who are growing with Davido and come with my own generation. And today he's doing something very, very different from those two. Now it's what we need to do. We need to have more people doing what Azawi is doing, Elijah Chitaka, Joshua Baraka, but of course they have to do it not in a wannabe way. Most of our people are wannabes. Someone wants to be like Linda Den. What
time are you giving them?
No, music to evolve can take even 10 years.
yes.
As long as you have a purpose.
Kasuku. I have an issue, and this issue is with Dagi Nice. Like we were talking the other time, and that has to do with Okusudia.
That is him.
Yes.
And
Dagi, this is for you, by the way. Dagi has this template, and even when you're trying to advise, you're very close with this artist. Can you introduce this asset to this producer who was coming, blah, blah, blah. He seems to be suggesting, Dagi, that do you know how much those people are making in villages? That in villages they don't listen to this sound.
He's lying. In those villages they are not making money there anymore. This I want to assure you. That is why band music went on its knees. The moment those local villagers said they stopped. I have like 3 musicians I can name here. They went here, they left, they went to Chotera or Korerayo Extra. You find out, you go and speak to Ketty. You ask Ketty after you left Kampala with Nwaj going out, what happened? Go and ask Shiba what happened going out. Go and ask Lydia Jasmine what happened going out. Anti baga into music ali mu byalo. Genda yo babuze. Yes.
How much those people make in a
Muveko, genda uzechale masindi ku kisawo. People are struggling. Nero amenyine mubuze echali kugonye Masaka ku Maria Flo. But they told us that Chotera Shiba national anthem teyayimba. They didn't start the national anthem for the show to begin. You think I'm lying?
There is no people.
There were no people.
No, you were trying to
No, we're trying to
fix the issue, but
yes.
also address it.
Some of these things we keep quiet. But what I'm telling you is this. That perception that, you know, most of our people have a problem.
Yes.
Hotel Africana. Hotel Africana is like 3,000, 5,000 people. Someone says, I've finished everything. You can get a promoter. You Kati you northern Uganda, abayimbi bayimbira opposite na comedy. Music, you people.
But some people keep saying why we can't change this sound is because outside Kampala, where you Bandali and Kololo, where you like this uptown sound, in villages they still like that sound.
We have seen, okay, one of the artists that I think everyone here has highlighted that happens to be Azawi, who has actually been sharing her 2 cents on social media for the past couple of months. And she went out and said, this is me saying exactly what she said, quote unquote, it's the way our fans are coming after us as the artists. You can't even blame them because they're right. The generation that inspired us to come into this game must be so ashamed of us. Our dear fans, what do you think we must do to bring our music industry back on top? Question here would be a little bit different. Who do you think is to blame when it comes to the laws? Because if there was a generation of artists that you've highlighted that were doing things right, where did we go wrong?
The consumers.
No, I think
because I think the consumers get what they are given or what they are served. So how is there such a huge gap in between the artists that you could highlight that were doing things right
I think,
with what we have right now? As
the world evolves, our musicians are acting like ostriches. They have the head in the sand and then the bum is out.
You can't see me, but you can see me.
Like Frank said, there has to be a structure how this music works and operates. Now this structure can enable them can guide them. For example, if Uganda Musicians Association or Musicians Federation hires a research company and asks them, what do you think Ugandans prefer now? What sound? Because our musicians, they are singing for people. They don't know who they are singing for. Most of them don't know, how did I get a hit song?
Yes.
Because these things, these things can be scientifically proven. Kati omuntu akera kumachana ganti. Mkamange, kati oluyimbo lwalufu bana njagala okwebaza omutonzi nga Katonda yali yebase bibye. Otegera kyengamba. So they don't know how did I get this hit song. You see Bankus that chosen Becky's song.
Yes.
Balutambuza for like a full year. Radios nezirukuba. The way they invested a lot of money in that song. Nerugana. She just woke up one day and Bankuza was everywhere. When you ask her how that song got there, she doesn't know. We had disappointment. Mary Butter I pushed that song. Actually, I put it on rotation like for 2 years. The song failed. Aruna told me, Orima, to relocate it to do other music. We just woke up one day, Aruna Mbiru calls me, tells me, Orima,
to party.
Yeah.
2 years later.
To party, 2 years later.
Kachumbari.
Now, if you
2
ask,
years later.
if you ask Pierre Pounds, how did Tupate become a hit? Tachiman. But a musician is supposed to know the science of making these songs.
There's a formula in which you're supposed to be able to.
This is why Beyonce does an album and it goes everywhere. Taylor Swift does an album and they are sure. Because these things, Bamani, the data that is collected by, let me say, the government, they go tap into it. Who are the social media users? What age bracket? How do they consume? What do they love most? What are the biggest problems that affect them? How do they relax their minds? Who is their favorite person they like to see? Do they like seeing TV?
What do I speak to them? How do I communicate?
They are supposed to have that. A musician is supposed to arm himself with all of that. Then that is going to help them to decide now which producer does best. I've seen musicians, I'm going to give you an example of Karo Nantong. When you listen to her songs, they are very sweet. But she's singing for the wrong people.
Yeah.
They are very sweet. The world moved from what the people she's singing for. Bavao! Never to know that Misachi's latest music, very nice music. Who else? Very many people. But now they are singing to 5 people. Because that audience now shifted. By name is Via Fizi. Kadomuntu I name is Via Fizi Omugamambo. Sima muchala wo muagale nnyo. And the woman is the cause of the problem. Oro Jako Saga. So you read the mood people are in, and you understand now. Now currently Uganda, we have economic hardships. That's why I call it bouncing. Yeah? You need to understand what is the mood of the people. Who is the best producer to deliver for me this sound?
As opposed to sticking to...
As opposed to saying, Katiolaba Pademan Jari akola music. Ne yama ni cha akola. So when you come and it does not fit where he knows or does, he refers you where? Bojango chamuka ndi mu bwangu ngagamba gende wa atini osegera. So the moment we begin, if our musicians first cover that, that is the consumers. Who am I talking to? What does the person I'm talking to like? How does he spend his free time? Then to moving up
and be able to. Frank spoke about structures.
Yes.
If you were to create a structure, what would it ideally look like if we were to be able to achieve what it is that we're actually aiming at? How would the structure be placed so that the artists can be able to benefit from their music?
I think, first of all, to be fair to artists, it is very difficult to make it alone, like being independent. Yeah. Even the MJs couldn't. They were either signed by a local record label that later linked to the other bigger one. First of all, at least on a micromanagement, you have to have a management that manages you, because the artists, they were created to be creatives. They just have to. If they can,
professional.
Yes, if they can go to the studio, then that product okujijjao okujongerayo. Independent artist nga aliwo mukiyinza okubanga tekikola takisobola. That's why nti abayinako okubaako the team egenda okubanga emanaging ate nga buli omu amanyi responsibility ye. Waliwo gundi yali atera okwogera eŋŋombo, yali Selector Williams, nti we don't have managers, we have damagers. Oba okitegeera nti ngoba ne manager naye nga gwe batuma sigala yalira abaana b'omuyimbi you understand?
Abyogedde.
Yes. Yes. Nti manager
Okay, Frank, you're still talking. Frank can go ahead. Yeah. So go ahead and continue.
Yes. Like Dagina said, let's be fair.
Yeah.
Nti manager chono mu Uganda go gamba ngujeko abatono asobola gamba omuyimbi ntogenda mu bbali eyo. don't do that.
Yeah.
Nachikola. You understand? Awo kitandikira nti tetubalina. So kibera kimenya. Omuyimbi okubera nti asobola goyinga global na afuluma. Bona abakikoze kirizo bagana, there is a big team behind them. Ekola wonders. Yini yamugamba omulimu gumu gwebera muyiya obosobola okuwandika tukuteke mu studio okoleki oyimbe product ogituwe fe tujongereyo management try to get ku kintu cha distribution. For example, do you know CD Baby? CD Baby, it's a whole platform just okutwalira oluyimba lwo n'ebiranga egenda do distributing each and everywhere na ku online platforms ez'amaanyi nemanya luno lugenda weru tunogenda weru tisede tugenda zijjayo bwe tuti naye osobola okusanga omuyimbi mu Uganda ayagala goyinga not even global is far-fetched. Let us just consolidate with our region, East Africa. You understand? Nga tamanyi na kumanya there is CD Baby josobola okuwa nemanya nti TikTok olujja agenda, Facebook olujja agenda okulu sinkinga bingi nnyo tetubimanyi. But do you know why? Because tewaliwo management kubayimbi abo. Kati bambi imagine chose make from Masaka there. Akubi oluyimba we dictator American
nabagabe okutogera amanya position
ebyadala bambi but
anyway
no first wait the
badly out of time. Badly out
we are
of
out
time.
of time.
Yeah, badly out of time.
Yeah, but this discussion is wide.
Yeah.
You guys need to get some time.
Badly out of time.
Like 3 hours, and because that's just a pinch.
Yes, just a pinch.
We have a relationship going on social media right now between the manager of Dr. Jose Chameleon and Dr. Jose Chameleon and his manager. I think they are celebrating 10 years together.
Which manager?
Manager Mutima.
Doing what?
Robert Jackson Nkuke. Dr. Chameleon amusimye. Amuwandikidde. Namutera wawo a good write-up acknowledging all the things he has done for him for the 10 years. And namugamba bwana Mutima Robert Nkuke, thank you so much. Ne Mutima naye namuddamu namugamba webale kunzikiriza kusavinga na kuzimba paka woli nga Jaganati wa Africa.
Oh why sijja kogera Chameleon ngoli wano kubamba dengenda kubuuza
ndemo kugamba ekiriwo
kukekikyayambye nnyo Chameleon ekiri awo because yomu kubayimbi abakyaganya okubera nga bagende ebitwani bali tugenda.
That's a very good question.
Let us be sincere and fair to our viewers.
As we leave Linda Kukuvayo, you know, I was looking at Linda then as early as she submitted. Then I remembered at some point people said, me and you were dating.
Wanji.
And I was like, but how did I miss out on you? You look fine, you know.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. But but guys, thanks for
But it's okay, it's only for now. We can now go and drink Mountain Dew, we relax.
Sure.
Welcome to our edition of Kasuku.
Thank you for coming to Kasuku and
Mr. Frank
Ntambi. Thank you for
Ntambi.
coming. We are proudly powered by Mountain Dew. We'll see you when we bounce back tomorrow. Bye bye.